I'm Shivani Gupta. I'm obsessed with small to medium businesses growing. As business owners, we take so much risk and we want to make sure it's worth it. I believe one of the best presents you can give yourself as a business owner is to be able to learn how to scale your people, your profit, and your processes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grow Your Business podcast. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you can see that I am in my exercise gear, and I want to be talking to you about your goals and your passions and making sure that they're in alignment for 2024. And the reason that I'm in my exercise clothes is one of my big passions this year is to move health from number 5 to number 4 on my hierarchy of passions that I'm going to take you through to ensure that I can really be in alignment with what I want to do. So let me start talking about what does it mean when we set our goals. I know so many people that set their goals and often they fall flat, usually 6 to 8 weeks in, often around health, money, and other things. And they get to the end of the year and they go, right, next year I'm going to reset the goal. So when I'm speaking at different functions or if I'm coaching people, one of the questions that I ask is how many of your goals have you consistently had that you have not achieved? And many, many hands go up. And if it's often an area or a void in their life that they haven't been able to master yet. So what I want to take you through is a really simple version in terms of how you can really master some areas and passions in your life that you have been wanting to master for a long time, how to set the goals underneath that. Passions always come first, goals always come second. And then just how to keep yourself accountable in terms of how that happens and how to create a vision board around that. So let me first start talking about what are the areas that you want to be able to master. So it doesn't matter which person or leader or thought leader and global thought leader you speak to, there are essentially 7 areas of life. And they are your work or your business. They are your family. They are your friends. They are your mind or learning. They are your money or investments. They're your health and body, and they're your soul, spirit, or religion. So they're the 7 areas that you really want to know how to master. And for those of you that are listening and you go, wow, I want to actually do the whole masterclass on it. I ran a masterclass. That is now as one of the products on the askshivani.com website. So have a look at that, check that out and see if that helps you further. Otherwise, just rewind and listen to this podcast and look at those 7 areas again. And the key thing here is you can only master 3 areas. We try and do everything, and that's when we end up getting mediocre results. So one of the things we want to do is to be able to really look at how can we master those 3 things, and you want to consciously choose the 3 things that it is that you want to master. Let 2024 be that year that you're actually going to make some of those differences. So for me, work and business has been in my top 3 for a very long time. That is in my top 3. My family is in my top 3, and my mind and learning is in my top 3. And so I then construct a lot of goals once I've consciously chosen that for 2024. I then want to write 4 or 5 goals under each of those. So that means in my top 3 areas of passions, I will have 15, 16, sometimes 18 goals in there that I want to achieve in a single year. Yeah, that's right. And the other 4 things, you still might have some goals, but you might only have 1 or 2. For example, if money is number 7, it doesn't mean that you won't in your business set out invoices or pay bills and do that, but you're not going to be able to create mastery with that. So you need to also understand that you need to let some of that guilt go, and some of those areas you are not going to get to the level that you would like to get, but the 3 things that you've consciously chosen, you are going to be able to excel at. So once you've done that, you want to write SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and with a time frame. So for example, one of the goals I've written down in health, which I've now moved from 5 to 4, one of the goals I've written down is I want to get to 4 yoga classes a week. Now that's meant that I've actually had to restructure my week and restructure the time that I perhaps start work. So I'm getting up a little bit earlier, knocking over some of the list that I've got on my action list then, and then I'm able to do other things, get to my yoga, and then do things outside of that yoga. Because to leave the family wasn't working for me and not be around for their breakfast time, their wake up time, cuddle time, And I want to be able to say I love you to them in the morning. So I wanted not to be able to be away from the family before they go to school and work. So I've restructured some of my diary around that. And so the specific goal is that it's 4 times a week. The M is measurable. Is it achievable yet? Because I was already going 2 to 3 times a week. So it's only an increase to 1 or 2 more times in a week. Is it realistic? Yes, it's realistic. I can structure my work around that, and when I'm traveling, to be able to do that in a hotel room wherever I am. And also, is it time bound? Yes, it's every week. So that's just an example of that for those of you. I know a lot of you listening would know how to set SMART goals. That's how you would set them. And then once you've got all your 16, 18 goals written down, minimum 15, at least 5 in each of those areas, and then 1 or 2 in all of the other areas, then whether you use Pinterest, whether you use Canva, I tend to use Canva because it's so simple. I take the keywords from that goal, put it into Canva, it'll come up with an image, and I'm literally drag and drop that particular image or design or word into a blank page, which becomes my vision board. And I want to look at that vision board all the time. And why do we want to translate it? Well, to read through 18 or 20 goals is a lot of work, whereas, as the saying goes, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So when you look at that, you can also create that. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that that you're looking at it all the time. My vision board sits on my home screen where I'm recording this, my computer screen. It's printed where I get changed, so I see it. It's absolutely everywhere. So I'm going to notice it at least 1, if not several times a day. And they're reminders for me to action things I haven't and affirm things that I actually have. So that's the key podcast that I wanted to do. As I said, if you've got any other questions, always please shout out. Would love to get your feedback. And if you wanted more details, there is a 90-minute masterclass on the Ask Shivani page. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that 2024 is your best year yet. And more importantly, it will be your best year when you get very clear on your passions, you set your goals, you do your vision board, and then you get an alignment with in terms of how you're going to action those things, little things each day, in order for you to be able to reach the goals and passions and the best year yet. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Shivani Gupta, and you've been listening to the Grow Your Business podcast. I hope you got one idea that you can think about or perhaps even implement straight away in your business. Thank you for listening. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under Ask Shivani. Remember, I call it Ask Shivani, so please send me your questions that I can address in this podcast for you. And I would also so appreciate if you went to the Apple Podcast to rate and review this podcast.